Hi, I'm Krista.
And I'm Sarah.
And we have this podcast called Have We Talked About? Where two friends at different points in their lives chat about everything in their lives.
From current events to pop culture, from self-care to self-indulgence, and everything in between.
Join us weekly to see what we talk about next. Hey girl.
Hey, what's up?
What's going on? I'm in a really good mood today.
Oh, I'm so glad I get good mood, Krista.
I know, it doesn't happen very often. I like to live in the darkness. Which is interesting, considering the podcast topic is pretty interesting.
Do tell.
We're going to talk about organization today. So, are you an organized person? Ways to be organized in your personal and your work life, and I guess maybe your social life too, right? Like there must be a level of organization when you like take trips and like hang out with people. I think it'd be good to start it off by asking the question, do you think that you're an organized person?
I do. I think there are people that are way more organized than I am, but I do think, average, I'm pretty organized. At least I try to be. But I also think there's different parts of my life that are more organized than other parts.
Do tell.
So let's see. Like, I feel like my kids' stuff, like I have two kids, I think all their like appointments, all their clothes, their rooms, it's pretty organized. I think, but like my room isn't as organized. I think my like computers and all my files, like hard copy files, taxes, everything that's organized. But then like other parts of my house, maybe my basement, not so organized. So I think there's like different like parts, different areas of my life that I think are more organized than not.
Interesting.
What about you? Are you organized?
No, I wouldn't consider myself organized by societal standards, but yeah, because one, I think because of my ADD and my penchant for collecting things. Yeah, I wouldn't consider myself organized, but you wouldn't know that I wasn't organized because I know how to find things when I need to. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, what's it called? Like organized mess, organized something. It's called something. I feel like there's a word.
Yeah, I need things to be in my face, otherwise I forget about them, and that's just a byproduct of my undiagnosed ADHD. Because once it's away forever. Yeah. So like people were like, oh, they have their vitamins in their cabinet. Like I need my vitamins on the counter.
Got it.
So that I see them.
And you remember to take them.
So everything needs to be in my face for like outside of like habitual things that we do, like brush our teeth or shower.
Got it.
Like there's things that I need there. So I wouldn't say that I'm organized. I just think I have my own systems.
You know what? And if it works for you, it works for you, right?
Well, I don't know the opposite. I've tried a couple times to be organized, but bringing up an interesting stat, being organized can boost productivity by 68% based on a study by Harvard Business Review.
Damn.
It can enhance your efficiency and overall performance. So I could be 68% better.
But it's true though. Like, don't you feel though, do you get those like little like bursts of energy or bursts of like, oh my gosh, I need to organize, I need to tidy this right now?
Yeah.
But then did you feel like good? Do you feel relieved, accomplished when you do so?
I do. But it's not. But it's like the manipulation tactic that my mom would use as a child, where it's like, "Don't you feel better now that your room's clean and tidy?" Yeah, but the first day that comes where I don't like what I picked as my first outfit for the day, and then change many outfits, it's over. It's over, right? Like, there's just that one time that things go that run amok, and it's like that's over.
Yeah. I read something that an organized personality is a person who is naturally neat, punctual, and detailed. Are you any of those characteristics?
I don't know. Well, it depends on what you mean by neat. I consider myself, well, I would say I'm a messy person. Not dirty, but messy. But punctual and what's the other one? Neat, punctual, and...
I forget.
Is that not in your notes?
I already closed the tab.
Oh, punctual and whatever the other one was. Yeah. I'm never late for things or whatever.
Neither. No.
No, because I know how to organize in that way of being like, it takes this long to get here, it takes me this long to get ready, and reverse engineer when I need to get started.
So you like organize your time. Yeah. You're really good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, my organization comes from like what I prioritize.
Makes sense. Okay.
So yeah, I've never lost my keys or my wallet or anything like that. Like that's to me disorganized. Where it's like you like literally don't know where anything is ever. Like I'm not like that.
Yeah. Do you have like websites or applications or softwares or something that you use maybe in your personal life or at work to keep you organized or on track?
Hell no. I don't have any of that.
You just
It
figure
takes
it
too
out.
much time to figure it out that it's just like I just don't. I don't need that to get organized. I just don't have the time to organize sometimes. It's just not my priority, so I don't do it.
So how do you remember like appointments or things to do, or how do you set reminders for yourself, or do you set reminders for yourself?
I do schedule things in a calendar.
Okay, so you use your calendar.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't remember otherwise. And that's everything, like from like appointments to like social things, even with friends.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because two things can happen in the same day.
Absolutely. I'm a huge calendar inputter. I put everything. Even I put like reminders, like remember to do this. Like even if it's like the smallest thing, to appointments, to things I want to get done that day, I will put everything in my calendar. And then I have a shared calendar with my husband, and then I'll like put things in his calendar too for things for him to do to keep him organized. I'm a huge calendar. I love it.
Fully support that. Yeah, I do the same. I put reminders in. So I wouldn't consider that organized, but maybe, I guess. Like, I don't print out itineraries in my day every day, but in order for me to remember stuff, yes, totally use the calendar.
I also use this app called AnyDo. It's like, I'm actually using it right now for my notes. It's like almost like a notes, like a checklist of things. So I have different like lists. I have like a grocery list. I have the podcast list. I used to have names for my unborn kid. I used to have like my list for him. I have like Christmas gifts for different people, like just different lists that I have. And then depending on who I want to share it with, so like the grocery list, I'll share that list with my husband. So he has it on his phone. So if he ever's at the grocery store, he's like, we need milk. Okay, perfect. I'll grab it. I can see it on the list. I find that really helpful. So instead of him texting me or calling me, what do we need? It's like, I don't know. He can just automatically check the list. So I find that super, super helpful. And then when I'm at work, I really like the software or the program called Trello to keep organized, as well as like doing all the things like in Gmail or Outlook, putting labels, putting color coding things and doing things like that.
I'm not really big on the color coding thing.
That's okay.
I'm fine with it. I feel no shame when people see how many emails I have that are unread or something. It's just like I've skimmed it, and I'll know I'll need it later, or I'll just ignore it, and then it's fine.
Like you don't put it in a folder? Like you don't file it away? Oh my God.
No. There's two. Well, I'm still pretty green in this job. I wouldn't even be able to begin to know how to categorize it to be able to find that email later. There's just too many different areas that it could come from related to something different. So it's just like, I used to do that way back early in my career, but then that's when I couldn't find the emails because I'm like, did I file it under operations or did I file it under projects? I don't fucking know.
Right.
And then I couldn't find it again. So
you gave up on that.
I was like, this, yeah. I do set rules for like ones that I never,
Yes.
like, I set rules on certain things where I'm like, this shouldn't even come into my inbox, and unless or like directly into the inbox because
So-
I don't deal with it.
Absolutely. On your phone, do you have like, what do they call? Do they call them folders on your phone, or like? Yeah, they call them like kind of folders. Do you have folders on your phone where you put like similar apps all together, or is it just like all left on
All
their own?
132 of those apps are all over the place.
Oh my god.
So I don't put similar ones. I have a lot of apps. I just use the search.
Oh my god. So
I just swipe up and then search and then type in the first 2 or 3 letters and it pops up. And then the ones I use all the time are on my home screen.
Okay, good. Saving you time. But for listeners that have just joined us, Krista and I are very different, as you can kind of tell already. Your phone would give me anxiety, Krista. Like,
What?
facts. I have a specific, I've like
It's like
specific
putting, it's
categories.
the same thing.
No.
No. See, what if you have something? I don't have things that all fall into the same category. So, like, let me give you an example. I have Adobe Scan on my phone. What category would you put that in on your phone?
Like, depending on when I use it, do you use it for work? Then throw it in your work folder. Do you use it for, I don't know, personal? Or like home? Throw it in your home one,
Yeah, those buckets are too vague for me.
Okay, well, make your own buckets then.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, what would I put it under? Like, it's, to me, it's like, it's just there. It's fine.
All right, if that
Just
works
type
for
in
you,
Adobe
it works
or
for
Scan.
you.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, this is the whole thing. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about techniques and stuff, and then see how many of these you use, or I should use. Going back to misplacing items for a second, or to kind of segue into talking about decluttering, which I think is what you're trying to get at, and minimalism. So just hiding things in a big box or folder. The average person spends 2.5 days each year looking for misplaced items.
That's hilarious. Like, I get it, but 2.5 days?
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's like, yeah, I mean, I've definitely been losing my earphones a lot because they're not long cords anymore. They're like little buds that stick in your ear. So if for whatever reason I pull one out and put it down somewhere and then walk away from it, yeah, there's a good chance that I'm not going to find it for a day or two. And I'll be like, that's okay. I know I'll find it again. It may not
Eventually.
be.
I would say the
It
thing
may
that
not be right now.
I think, well, maybe Outlook just needs to improve their search function. Like, you have an email in your head that you're trying to find, and then you like type in like the keywords and then it doesn't pop up and you're like, what? So I feel like, yeah, I could potentially be looking for that email for at least a few minutes. So if you add that up over time, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, but like the stuff in your house too, like keys or...
Yeah, I lose my phone 4 times a day easily.
Right, because nobody has a ringer on their phone anymore. So it's just like...
And I never have pockets. Like, hello, women's pants or shorts. Can you please add more pockets to them?
Yeah, I try and make a point to always have my pants and stuff have pockets for that reason.
Yeah.
I like try and scoop it under my bra strap and just walk around with it. But getting back to the matter at hand, so let me talk through some of these decluttering techniques. I'm going to talk about the most popular one, or it was very popular maybe 5 years back now or more. Mm-hmm. The KonMari method by Marie Kondo. Mm-hmm. So the idea is that you declutter by going through every single item that you own. Clothing specifically, I think, is what her Netflix special was about. Mm-hmm. And then only keeping the items that spark joy. Mm-hmm. And that makes sense.
For sure.
But what's that feeling like when you pull out that top you haven't seen in a while? And then it sparks joy because you forgot you had it. So it's like getting a new outfit all over again.
But does it fit you?
Well, yeah, that's a whole other thing. But nobody has time to do both. I can only talk about whether it sparks joy. I'm not going to do a fitting room session at the same time. Mm-hmm. Because you're like, well, I could fit into it though, and it does spark me joy.
Exactly. I think clothes for me, like I could do that for anything, literally anything. But clothes, no, I can't do it. I can't do it for clothes.
I definitely need to get better, and I think this next technique is something that I should start to implement on my own, calling the 1 in, 1 out rule.
Okay. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
So for every new item that you bring, you have to remove an existing item from your closet.
That's a good one.
Which, it's a really good one, right? And I was thinking, I'm like, when did I become a person that stopped, like, removing old clothes from like my wardrobe. And it's just like, I guess it had to do like shortly after I left home. And then my mom used to be like, go through your closet and take out all the clothes that you don't want anymore, and I'm gonna give them to like Goodwill or whatever. And then even after I moved out and would come visit her sometimes, I would still bring my bag of like used clothes so that she could like coordinate giving it to Goodwill. And then somewhere along the line, I obviously, living downtown, there's not a lot of accessible Goodwill places near me. So I was like, am I going to get on the bus with a garbage bag of stuff? Like, am I going to get in a taxi?
Yeah.
So then I stopped doing it. But nowadays, I think a lot of them will come and pick it up from you, like for condos, and come pick up those clothes from you. So I should definitely revisit.
I think that's great because I think people, probably especially in North America, have too much stuff. And they could probably donate, get rid of, give to wherever. I think that's great. Because realistically, we don't need all the stuff that we have.
Totally. That just, what else I used to do is the times that I would go to Cuba on vacation, I would bring like an extra, not suitcase, but almost suitcase worth of all of my old clothes and then give it to like housekeeping.
Oh.
Yeah.
That is so sweet of you, Krista.
Yeah. Well, because they don't have access to a lot of things, right? So it's just like in lieu of the money, because sometimes they can't convert in Cuba anyway. I don't know if it's changed. They would have a tourist currency and a regular currency. And sometimes a tourist currency, if you gave it to them, they couldn't take it to the bank to change it. So it's like, it's almost like you give them a tip that they can't use.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. It's a whole thing. Or used to be. I don't know if it's still the same. So like, and give them all like tops and pants. Like sometimes they're pants I hadn't even worn yet, but it's like, these will never fit. And then, yeah, we just leave it with a note being like, just take what you want and take what you need.
I think that's good. And I think a lot of people do that with like infant and baby and kid clothes just because they grow out of them so quickly and they barely, depending on, maybe it's an infant, they barely get worn. They will get worn like 3 times or something. And I think a lot of people try to give them to friends, give them to family, you know, donate them wherever just because it barely got worn. And they want to continue, you know, to help other people and do that because it's in perfectly fine condition.
Yeah. Are you a buyer of gently used clothing or take donations of clothing?
We were pretty fortunate. I would say 80% of my son's clothes we got given by family because his cousins had 3 boys.
Nice. So
they had a lot of clothes that they just they were like, here's a huge garbage bag, take what you need, donate the rest. So that's been helpful. And yeah, I go to Once Upon a Child for things. I'll shop at Walmart. I'll shop at Carter's. I'll shop at different places. But I know I'm not going to get something too expensive because they're going to ruin it or they're going to be grow out of it so quickly.
Oh yeah, especially in like the beginning stages for sure.
Yeah.
I know my sister's given away tons of stuff after having 3 boys, and it's the best to like get like a jacket that's brand new that hasn't been used because the kid just grows so quickly at that age, right?
Totally.
Like a winter jacket.
Totally. Or it's the season, right? Like, oh, they think they need a winter jacket, but then he's going to be too small or too big or whatever, right? Like, so absolutely.
So this takes me to my next note here on like decluttering techniques, and this sounds like you probably subscribe to it a little bit. It's called the 4-box technique. And I don't know if that's the actual known term for it, but you grab 4 boxes when you're decluttering an area, and one, we've seen this on Netflix shows. One is a keep box, one is a donate or sell box, one's a trash box, and one is an unsure one. Who has 4 boxes in their house to do that though? Number one. And also all the stuff that I would be going through would not fit into 4 little boxes, by the way.
Yeah.
Piles.
Yeah.
We could call it the 4-pile technique.
I think that's great. I think everyone has too much stuff. I think that's great. If you have the time and energy to do that, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's making me feel inspired that maybe I should do that on the weekend. I should do a purge. But I'm not ready yet.
Is there any more techniques?
Yeah, there's tons.
Oh my gosh.
This one I think is stupid. It's called the 90-90 rule. If you haven't used an item in the past 90 days and don't foresee yourself using it in 90 days, You can let it go.
No, because that's hard in Canada because we have seasons, and like I'm not going to use my winter stuff in the summer. Like, nah, pass. Next.
And then I'm going to loop these. Don't go together, but I'm gonna lump them together. One is digital decluttering, so it's not with physical goods. It's like emails, old files, pictures, unsubscribing from newsletters in your email.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I've done that a couple times where I'm like, fuck, I never use this coupon and I don't care anymore.
Yeah, but then I hate when it takes you click unsubscribe, but then you have to like fill out other things and then like enter your email. It's like, no. I just want to press that button and be done.
Right? You almost want to file a complaint. It's like, how dare you punish me for wanting to unsubscribe? And sometimes they try and trick you.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll just click what you originally picked and we'll unsubscribe you. No, remove me from your memory.
100%. I know. I think that's good too. And I think going through your pictures, especially nowadays, I feel like everyone takes so many pictures on their phone. Pictures and videos take up so much space. So just going through that, every so often is great.
Truly. This one is silly, like adopting a minimalist wardrobe. Never gonna happen. Yeah, just collect like versatile, timeless clothes and wear them frequently. Nope. I'm a new outfit girl. Sorry.
And yeah, same. And also, no. Like I hope to be like that, but I'm never gonna be like that.
I'll never be like that. One in, one out. I can buy into. Minimalist, no. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna skip through these ones because these are silly, in my opinion. Being mindful, like okay, yeah, obviously.
Just do a few more.
Well, I've other techniques in other categories, so we can move past that. One thing about this, one of the techniques that they talk about is setting goals and prioritizing tasks, which I think is kind of what I definitely do, the prioritizing part. To throw in a stat to validate this, research shows that people who write down their goals are 42% more likely to achieve them. And I can buy into that because I think even you talked about it, and I didn't talk about it, but I also do it as well, is that lists, right? Like lists are the same but different from setting goals. The lists are probably more short-term and immediate, like a grocery list, vacation list.
Yeah.
But that's how you, again, get organized and know what you need to do and what's outstanding.
Yeah.
I could go into techniques about prioritizing tasks, but I feel like that would kind of be a little bit dry.
Yeah, pass.
Is there any pass on that? This is an interesting statistic because I've heard this stat in a different way a few times, so I don't even know if I buy into it, about behaviors in creating habits. So the stat says it takes an average of 66 days for a new behavior to become automatic. I've heard it as 21 days before. I've heard it as 45 days or 30 days to create a new habit, and now it's 66.
Okay.
I'm like, funnily enough, is like after 2.5 months, that's usually when I fall off my gym routine. So I don't know if I buy that.
That's funny. Jeez. Okay. Well, good to know. That's a long time, but okay.
Yeah. So some techniques, I guess, to implement these new behaviors, I guess, is making things become routine, right?
Yeah.
So blocking out time, creating a morning and evening routine, simplify and delegate. I don't have any kids to delegate my shit to.
So you spoke about the Marie Kondo Netflix show. Did you watch it when it was on Netflix?
I did. She had like 2 seasons. I don't think I really got into the second season because after a while there was her, and then a few years later there was this duo of 2 women.
The Home Edit.
And and it gave me anxiety after watching them that I'm like, I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Really?
Like everything in a basket, everything with a label. I'm like, this sounds like what I used to do when I was like 10 years old. But the reality is that's assuming everything stays static. And it's just like, then what happens? What happens when the jar of like old photos now needs to be something else? Like I'm always a what if person. So it's like, it looks all nice, but it never seemed like realistic to me unless I never plan to wear anything again
Jeez.
or own any clothes or like just get new things.
But they did some great jobs. So, it's on Netflix, called The Home Edit. They have a few seasons, and they're just like this team of organizers that will go into someone's business or home and kind of organize a space for them. And they did some pretty good transformations, I thought. That's funny that it gave you anxiety, because it almost like inspired me, and like it almost made me try to make my home or space a little more organized.
Mm-hmm. I think you're just exchanging one habit for another, because so I have to buy bins for everything. Like, that is money. Like, I could have got a new outfit and you're telling me now I need to buy bins upon bins. Like, one of the things that I have no tolerance for anymore on like TikTok and Instagram is all those ASMR videos where there's girls like, watch me pack all of my 70 containers that go in my fridge, with more packaging and more packaging and more packaging. And it's just like,
And I will watch that.
girl.
I'll watch all of that. But it's funny because
But how long did it take you to unload your groceries?
an hour. But it's funny
More than
because
that for sure.
the Home Edit creators, they actually have like their own line of organizational bins and boxes and little things. So like, good for them.
All a scam. All a scam.
But yeah, I will watch those TikTok videos of someone organizing their fridge and taking the eggs out of the egg container and putting it into the little egg thing, and then putting like the different, I don't know, whatever, juice box or something in the, like that little like container, and lining them all up. I will watch all that and I will say, wow, that looks incredible. I'm not going to do that, but I like how that looks.
I just end up there for the comments where people are like, thank you for showing me how much you waste plastic and are destroying the environment. Or like, that's 3 minutes of my life I'll never get back.
No, I love how it looks. I truly love, and I think my house is somewhat organized. I would love it to be more organized. I just love the after, like when they organize a space and you see it and it's color coded. It's everything. Yeah. It's beautiful. I know, obviously you don't like it, but I'm like, wow. That's amazing.
It looks great for the time being. I just don't ever find it realistic.
I get that.
Unless, okay, because even Marie Kondo is not a neat person anymore because she had another baby, right? So it's just like, because it's just you gave birth to a baby that wasn't like all your other babies, and this baby's a little demon and a terrorizer, and all of a sudden just makes tornadoes and messes everywhere. And now you're like, oh, you know what? Sparks joy for me? Naps, resting, wine.
Yeah, I think she said like, after my second baby, she's like, you know what? I couldn't organize and tidy everything. I just had to kind of let it be. But it's like, girl, I feel you. I'm just gonna let those toys be on the ground. I'm tired.
That's real life.
Yeah, totally.
It's like, all you're telling me is that you have too much time. That's another thing. People that are too neat or organized, I don't trust them because they have too much time as far as I'm concerned. It's like, if everything is neat and organized, that means that you're just like doing bare minimum because life is very busy and hard. So if you have that kind of time, that means that there's other more higher priority things that you're just not paying attention to because you either don't want to or you don't have the skill.
That's funny. Something that surprised me. So during both of my pregnancies, I would say in the third trimester, nesting. Have you heard of nesting?
Yeah, I was just gonna, when you started talking about that, I was gonna ask you if you felt the need to nest.
Yes, you get this, I can't even describe it. You get this overwhelming feeling, and it's not even like, oh, I need to get the nursery organized. It's no. I need to get my entire house tidy and organized before this human being pops out of me. Like, you had this overwhelming, I don't know, something comes over you and you become this crazy person and you're like, I need to organize everything. It is bizarre.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I did it for both my kids.
I don't remember my sister being like that with any of her three.
Oh my God. No, like literally like back room of my basement. I was like, I need to organize this. This is a disaster. This baby's not going to be in this room, but I need to do it. Yeah.
The wantingness to organize is like a genetic female trait almost. Like,
It's bizarre. I don't know.
Coming from me, I'm not organized, but yeah.
I've heard other people having it too, but if you've had it, please let me know. Were you like a hardcore nester in your third trimester? And did you not just focus on your nursery? Did you focus on other rooms within your house? Please tell me.
Yeah, like what was the extent of it? Jeez. It's like, we have to remodel, we have to renovate.
Like I went to like every cabinet in my kitchen and like went through it. It was crazy.
Woo! Sounds tired just hearing about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But you get something comes over you, and you're just like, I need to do this. I don't know. Yeah. Hormones.
I need to do this to feel complete.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Has to be.
Yeah.
It's not the full moon.
No.
Like, well, I need to hire some pregnant women when they get that urge to just come over and just like, organize. You'll feel so much better.
It's so weird because it's like you think like you're not going to get around to it and the baby is, and you're not. Spoiler. But it's such a weird feeling that comes over you. But yeah, had it for both of them.
So do you feel satisfaction when you would get those things done, or would it be like there's something else I have to do?
It's like a checklist. Check. That's done. Check. Mission accomplished. Next. Like that's what I felt. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was so bizarre. Do I want to do that now? Absolutely not.
No. Well, right now you're trying to like recover from lack of sleep.
Yep.
Because these babies be doing a number.
Yeah. What other organization facts or tips or advice do you want to share?
We can move a little bit into like the workspace and talk about emails. The average person receives 121 emails per day. Did you know that?
Average, eh? Wow, nice.
I'm like, I must not be on a lot of email distribution lists, or I've really gotten good at like decluttering my email because, well, yeah, I probably don't pay attention. As soon as I see like the first few lines in the preview pane of an email, I'll be like, this is not for me.
It's true. It's true.
It's more frustrating when the email is to a bunch of people and then and they ask a bunch of questions and you're like, who do they want to answer this? Because it's not clear. That's more stressful.
Yeah. But I personally my inbox has to be organized.
So that brings me to my next question / technique is like the whole idea of inbox zero.
I don't think that's possible nowadays because I keep emails of reminders too. And like, you know, especially in Outlook, it like has like the red flag and it'll remind you to do something on like X day. I'll have that. So especially with the stat that you just provided, I don't think that's possible to have 0 emails in your inbox. Maybe on your first day. Probably not though. I don't think that's possible nowadays. Also depends where you work.
Yeah. And like, maybe you work in a situation where you have to process in like intake and then outtake. So, but yeah, inbox zero. I don't know if I've ever had inbox zero. I'll accept like my last day of work somewhere where you're just deleting everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of the other techniques I think we talked about, like the decluttering of like unsubscribing from unnecessary emails.
Yes.
I don't think I do this enough with emails is like prioritizing emails.
Yeah. Well, no. Maybe you don't set something in your inbox, but in your mind, you know what's a priority and what you need to handle first.
Yeah, definitely. What was I going to say? You say you use like email categories and labels though, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit about your strategy?
I just
find those of us that don't.
I just find it helpful because when you're going through your inbox, you can just quickly, you know, pick out whatever you need or what you're waiting for or whatever. And I like color code it. So if like, okay, I need to look for a purple thing because I know that goes with X. I just find it easier and I find it quicker if I'm trying to find something or if I want to do something. It just helps me.
But how do you remember what you've assigned the color to and what it goes to? I think is probably where I usually lose it, where I'm like, I don't remember why this was color coded, this color.
Well, you don't have like 40 different colors. You might have like 6 or 7.
Yeah, but that's still like a lot.
Okay, well,
it's just like give me, I would be like, just give me an example of like, you have one that's purple. What category would that be? Just like give me some inspiration.
Okay, I haven't worked in a while, a few months. I'm on maternity leave. I don't know. It
doesn't have to be a direct example. You can just like make an example up.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's for like your team, or maybe it's for a particular like topic in your industry, or maybe it's like in your job, or maybe it's for, I don't know. It could be for anything, whatever you want it to be. Or maybe it's for a particular person. Maybe like you have our direct reports, and maybe like purple is for a particular, I don't know, whatever you want it to be, whatever makes sense for you, do it. Krista is looking at me like I'm crazy.
I didn't find that helpful, but for the listeners, maybe that gives them something. But yeah, that's what they talk about, making folders or tags based on different projects, clients, or topics. I just don't think that most people's work falls into those kind of buckets. So it's like, how do you determine, other than like rules, which I do, is like based on like the type, like
I like the flags. I like the flags because sometimes if you're waiting on something from somebody and they're like, yeah, I'll get it to you, and you're like, I don't trust you, so I'll put a flag on it to be like, remind me in 3 days to potentially follow up, then I'll do that as well.
Definitely, that makes sense. And that's kind of like using an aspect of like calendar and scheduling, which I totally I can totally understand that.
Yeah.
Do you have any email templates? Talk about setting up.
Yeah. Well, especially in my line of work. Absolutely.
I don't have any email templates, but it doesn't make sense for what I do. But when I did have to hire contract people at one point, and use our applicant tracking system at the time that we were using, I set up email templates and set up a whole system to automate it so I could do the least amount of work possible for scheduling. Like that administrative stuff, I have no patience for.
Yeah.
So just created the different emails at the different stages, used whatever HR would signed off on as appropriate language from a culture and brand perspective. And then all I had to do is spend time filtering through resumes, being like, you go here, you go here, you go here, next step, see you later. Not sure.
And that's being efficient, right? You're being efficient with your time so you can, get through that quicker so you can move on to something else.
Yeah, exactly. So I think from that perspective, when I need to be organized, I just find systems to get things done with the least amount of like actual effort. That's the most effective.
Yeah, makes sense. I also like to put reminders like in my calendar as well for certain things. Like in my work calendar to remind me. I think that's helpful. Yes,
I do the same. I'll do like, I don't block it out of my calendar, but for the first hour of my workday, I prefer not to have meetings so that I can get organized. So that's where I'll put like reminders of stuff where it's like these tasks I need to prioritize or do some work on before my day starts.
Yeah.
And make sure that I like address them.
And don't get me wrong, I'll like use a pen and a paper to write some things down too, of things I want to remember or want to do or whatever, just so I don't miss it or forget it.
Well, life gets so busy, right? It's just like we're just in a world now where we have to find ways to like keep ourselves accountable and keep ourselves knowing what the hell we're doing from time to time. I know that I'm a person that gets up to do one thing, goes into another place, and you're like, oh shit, I have to do this thing. And then I pick up that thing and then I come back and be like, oh, but I really went to do this thing and I need to go back and do that.
That might be called something else though, Krista.
Yeah, it's called ADHD, But to feel better about myself, the average person, it takes them an average of 23 minutes to regain focus after being distracted.
23 minutes?
Yeah. So I feel vindicated.
Wow, that's a long time.
Right? Well, this just shows like the level of processing the brain does.
Yeah.
Now. Of like how much information we're having to take in, and then to stop it to go to something else. Like every minute of every day, you're having to do more than one thing. And I think, 20 years ago, there was like a hyper focus on being good at multitasking.
Yeah.
And in my 20s, I was able to be good at multitasking, but now studies have proven that that's actually the worst thing to do. And then I think that contributes to why I can't stay focused on one thing for a long period of time, because I've been conditioned to like 3 minutes here, 3 minutes there, 3 minutes here, next this, then that. And then it's like, wow, what did I get done?
Well, why do you think TikTok is so popular? Because people don't have the attention span to watch longer things. They just watch quick little 20-second videos and they're on to the next one.
Which is so interesting because I actually can't stand TikTok for that reason. I need to like put on YouTube and have somebody talk at me for an hour about something that I'm going to listen to at double speed because they talk too slow. But I can't take the change of every 30 seconds of like a new video of like, you know, somebody laying in the rain because their husband left them, and it's just like
Doing a TikTok
it's just too clickbaity for me.
That's funny.
Or like the new makeup trick. It's like, oh, look, you can use your spoon to put on your eyeshadow. It's just like, what?
Hey, I love TikTok. TikTok is great.
They're going to say, hey, I use spoons to put on my eyeshadow.
You imagine?
Like, please don't say that.
No. TikTok is great. TikTok is so good because there are so many things, especially for babies. They're like, what to do with your baby when your baby is 3 months old. You can try these things. You're like, great, because I don't know what else to do other than look at him and say, hi, how are you? Because you can't do much. So that's good. And and what to feed your baby when they get to like actual foods. Like I use that with my first son. Like, oh, I love TikTok.
Oh, so I'll give you a good tip that I saw on a TikTok video, but I saw it on Instagram. So
oh my God, woman.
It was a TikTok video from like 2 weeks before. Maybe you've seen it already. But this mother had, she said I don't know if she does it all the time or just decided to do it one day for like a rainy day when her kid wasn't going to be able to go out and play. And he's like a kid that needs to be active. Mm-hmm. Is that she took all of his toys and put him in a bowl, like a mixing bowl of water and froze them and then dumped it out and gave him like paintbrushes with water and like a little hammer and being like to try and like get his toys out. And I think he basically went at it for like 2 hours.
Like, that's fantastic. And like you're scrolling through TikTok, you happen to come across that 20-second video. You're like, fantastic. This is a great activity I could do with my kid. Like, I love TikTok.
Exactly. You're welcome. I got something out of it too. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I've seen lots of different like little things that they can do. I don't have kids, so it doesn't matter.
But there's a lot of
like
organization, how to stay organized, tips to stay organized, or like ways to stay organized. There's a lot on TikTok. Like the fridge one, for example, I've seen a ton of those. Different products to use to stay organized in your office, in your kitchen, in your family room, in your bedroom, in your bathroom, like so many.
Yeah, TikTok. It's definitely apparently the number one go-to tool for organization. I don't know why it's not on my list.
It should be. It's a good one. Well, that's all I have for kind of my side of tips and tricks and other things about organization. Do you have any other things you'd like to add, Krista?
I don't think so. I think we've covered the gamut. I think what's clear is that like building a system, having like a plan is ideally like the first step. So creating systems to be organized, whether it be a routine, a way of tackling the decluttering and finding a way to maintain that is important. Do what works for you. Obviously, no judgment. And don't be hard on yourself if you fall off, because you're not the only one who tries to start something new, like a new routine, and has a hard time sticking to it. And so I'll end with this stat so everybody can feel great, is that only 8% of people successfully achieve their New Year's resolutions.
Oh, like I believe that.
Yeah. It's just not the right time to start it. And it has to be a feeling from within, and it's not the feeling that kicks in on New Year's Day.
Valid. Awesome. That's fantastic. Well, thanks for joining us this week. And I'll chat with you next week, Krista.
Yes, and please rate and review us as always. Follow us on all the social medias, and we will see you on Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.